Okay, welcome everybody. Ohayou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Sorry I'm a bit late. 今日は引っ越しの日ですね。引っ越しの日. I'm moving house. Moving house. So, sorry, I had to go organize some stuff this morning. Excited though, the new house is quite nice. Alright. Just want to make sure everything's good on this side. Hello, hello. Alright, that sounds good. Okay, so yeah, sorry, a bit of a short one today, but we're just going to be continuing on with our Year 12 Kanji, okay? So I'd really encourage everyone to open up the Google Doc, the link is in the description, and follow along. Okay, I've also got an ad up here on Gumtree. I've also got the link to that here. I mean, if you want some private lessons, definitely look at sending me through an email right to here. I do all types of study. This video is mainly going to be for my Year 12 students, and I guess Year 11 students as well. But yeah, there's a lot of my material from now on is going to be for Year 12 exam preparation. Okay. Alright, so we've got a whole bunch we've already done. We're up to here. Okay, so we're up to 6 strokes. Okay, 6 stroke kanji. Not many in this one actually. Alright, so let's get started. Actually, before I get going, I just wanted to mention, I'm pretty sure I have said this in other videos, but I really am making these videos from a perspective of Year 12, okay? So for example, these kanji, they have more readings, okay? And also more meanings I want to point out, but specifically, specifically there's a lot more meanings that, readings that you should be aware of, okay? But what I'm saying is, in my experience of, first of all, I did the Year 12 exam quite a few years ago now, but good for me, it doesn't change much. But also, of course, I look at every year exams get released by the various curriculum councils around Australia, and I go through those as well. So I have a very good feel of what words will be included and what words won't be included. So, for example, when we look at our receptive kanji list, okay, these are kanji which you only have to be able to read, and it's only being able to read them in certain compounds. Okay, so it's not like you have to know that kanji, every single possible word it could appear in. It's only certain compounds. But, sorry, my phone just fell. Give me a sec. But we'll see that there are certain words that we really have to know. Okay, we really have to know some certain words. So I'll go through those. But basically the highlighting is about the extent that you'd have to know of this kanji. So I haven't highlighted all the readings, and I haven't highlighted all the English meanings either. Both are important. But yeah, there's generally only a few that you have to know. Having said that, there is still quite a lot, I should say, but just keep in mind that if, for example, you're going to do some JLPT, so for example, JLPT N4, the Nihongo no Ryoku Shiken, if you're going to do this, then you would need to know more than this, okay? I always say that you pretty much need to be like a 70% plus student in Year 12 Japanese to be confident to be able to pass JLPT N4. Alright, I think you'd still need to do some additional study for N4, because N4, it's a different exam from Year 12, okay? So, anyway, that's enough about that. So let's go. Let's go. Alright, so our first one, okay, is Mimi. Mimi, okay, this is ear. Alright, so just a body part. I mean, it's really good to know all your major body parts, okay? Atama, Mimi, Hana, Kuchi. Alright. Ude. It's good to know all these words. But really, we don't have to know the onyomi for this, okay? We can see it in words like, you know, ENT, like an ears, nose, and throat doctor, for example. But really, we're just going to get by with Mimi. And by the way, this can help us remember some other kanji. I should have put this one down originally. But we have, like, for example, the kanji for listen. Okay, we see it's got a tiny little mimi in the middle there. So that just makes it a bit easier to remember. Okay, what's our next one? Okay, we got this one. Now, a lot of you will just probably read this as sen, but just remember, that's the on yomi, okay? So if you go up to a Japanese person and say, what does sen mean, okay? They're not going to tell you that it means this kanji, for example. They're very likely going to say 1,000, okay? This means 1,000. But this kanji, I know we can read it as sen, but if we really want to say, hey, what's this kanji? Generally, we'd say saki, okay? Saki. どういう字ですか? Okay? But we could also say, for example, sensei no sen. Okay? The sen from sensei. Anyway, we see that it means before, ahead, previous, future. So you might think these are kind of contradictory. As they kind of are. But just kind of think it's like going forward or in front of, going in. And therefore, because it's going forward or in front of, it kind of means previous as well. Because it's, you know, everything's kind of behind it. So it was before everything. Alright, now what do we have to know this kanji for? Well, basically sensei, okay, this is probably the most common word most of you guys will know, so teacher. But also we see in all our dates, okay, when we're talking about previous dates, okay, so we have senshu, which is last week, and also sensenchu, which is the week before last. We can have sengetsu, okay, for example, last month. So both of these are useful words. Now, saki, I was kind of debating whether to even put this in here, but you do actually hear this word a lot, so this is more of a pragmatic thing. I don't think it's going to come up in year 12 too often, but yeah, we can say, you know, saki. Okay, so this means just before. So I remember I got chastised once because I said saki when I was actually referring to something which had happened a few months ago, and really what this word means is it just kind of happened. So we're talking like within the last half an hour or so. Saki nani ga okotta. Okay. That's about it, I think, for that one. Alright, our next one. Okay, this next one, a lot of you probably, again, be pretty familiar with this. It's ao. Alright, to meet someone. Okay. Now, I put awaseru as well because this is actually kind of a commonish word that could come up in year 12. Alright, and this means to kind of I'm not sure the exact meaning, but to kind of combine, I guess we could think of it this way. But anyway, I probably should just get rid of it. Sometimes I get a bit too happy about kanji. All right, really we could get by with learning ao for this one. Okay, and also kai, of course. All right, so we see this kanji means meeting or meet. Okay, basically this is, you'll get by knowing this meaning. All right, but we see some words. You know, kaisha, a company. All right. Now, a lot of you may not be aware that you can flip these kanji and read them the other way, and then it's a different word. So, shakai, society. All right. Now, both of these words are definitely liable to come up in year 12. Okay, both of them. Kaisha, shakai. All right. Now, we can have a bit of a verb conjugation here, but aeru, so to be able to meet. Okay, this is coming from ao. It's a bit of a revision of our potential form. Okay, our u sound turns into our e vowel equivalent for these u verbs, and then we just add ru, aeru, so able to meet. Okay, so basically, you know, can you meet me? You know, do you have time to meet me? Aeru. Alright, next one. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys know this one. Now, this is a really good kanji to practice writing because it's one of these ones that can definitely fall by the wayside if you're not paying attention. But yeah, definitely look up the stroke order for this one as well because it's one of these kind of fundamental kanji that's worth learning. Alright, so obviously everyone kind of knows this as ki, alright, and this will be enough to get by for year 12, okay? Basically, we're going to have this word coming up in genki, and I guess I should also put tenki. Okay. Okay, so weather. Now, what does this mean? Well, it's got quite a few meanings, so I think it's worth learning all of these. So, spirit, okay, this is the primary meaning, I would say, but mind, air, okay, we see this a lot. Atmosphere and mood, okay, so we've got words like funinki. By the way, this word, funinki, this is not a year 12 grammar, vocab, alright, so you don't have to know it, but it's worth remembering because actually a lot of Japanese people don't know how to sometimes do a mistake when they write this, not when they draw the kanji, but if you ask them, hey, how do you pronounce this kanji? A lot of them will say fu-inki. 雰囲気。これは間違ってますね。これ×。雰囲気. Alright, so I remember there was a Japanese TV show where they went around asking Japanese people some kind of commonish kanji and that people often make mistakes with, and yeah, this was one of them. So this is a bit of a test you can do on Japanese people to see if they're paying attention. Okay, but we know that we can see that this on the bottom here, this is fun. Okay, we've seen this kanji before in our list already. So fun iki. Okay, next one. Alright, this is one. Okay, this one, people often mistake this one with karada, which will be a 7-stroke kanji. Okay, but this is not. Okay, this is yasumu. Yasumu. Alright, to take a break or take a rest. Okay, and also we have to, I think, would really good to learn Q for this one as well. Q. Okay, so we see this means rest. We get some other words, but they're very, very similar. And also sleep. Okay, we think of oyasumi nasai. Alright, our good night greeting, I guess we should say. Okay, so this is the same kanji. Alright, so what are some words to this? Well, kyujitsu. Okay, this is a word probably not a lot of you will know, but it could come up in year 12. Okay, kyujitsu. Bit of a strange reading for this nichi kanji as well, by the way. Kyujitsu. Alright, and this is the word maybe a lot of you will remember. To remember this word, we have natsu yasumi. Alright, our summer holidays, or fuyu yasumi, our winter holidays. Okay, so we notice that this one is kind of it's not unusual, but you know, we can have both a noun and a verb for this kanji. Right, yasumu, yasumi. Okay, now how do we tell the difference between this and karada? Let me just write karada here. Okay, so we see karada on the right here. We have book. All right, and on the left here we have tree. Now, when we're thinking about kanji, radicals, alright, I mentioned this at the very beginning of this series, we have to kind of know, or we don't have to, sorry, but learning maybe 5 or 6 radicals can really, really help you remember some kanji, okay? Now, this kanji on the left here, this is it's kind of 2-stroke, it kind of looks like a katakana I, but actually this is called ninben. Ninben. Alright, now you don't have to remember the name of that, but ninben, this nin, you should kind of recognize this sound. This means person, right? So, nannin ga imasu ka? How many people are there? You know, 3nin, 4nin, 5nin, 3, 4, 5 people, okay? So this radical means person, okay? So it kind of makes sense. We're talking about resting. We have people who do resting. Alright, and then we have tree on the right, okay? So where do people rest? Under a tree, okay? So we have our hito, and we have our ki, and the person sits under the tree and rests. Okay, so this is yasumu, person sitting under a tree. Now here, like I said, the only difference is we have hon on the right here rather than ki. Okay, now by the way, to remember the difference between ki and hon, I used to think, well, that a person reads a book under a tree. Okay, so this extra line is the book, right? It's the kind of flat book. I don't know if that's going to capture on the camera here, but you know, just imagine they're holding the book and reading it under the tree. So this is hon. So how do we remember that this is karada, this is body? Well, I used to think of Gray's Anatomy. Gray's Anatomy. Okay, what is Gray's Anatomy? This is like a medical book which shows all the body parts, right? All the kind of systems of the body. You know, it's what it's also like a TV show. All right, but I think I want to say it's spelled differently. I can't actually remember which way the actual book is spelled. But anyway, you know, before the TV show, this is a very famous medical book. Okay, a lot of med students I think have to buy this when they're starting med. I actually don't know that, but I'm just guessing. All right, so Gray's Anatomy. All right, we think Gray's Anatomy. What's this talking about? The body. Okay, it's all the systems of the body. So karada. All right, so that's what I used to think of. People, body, Gray's Anatomy. All right, so that should get you by. All right, but we want to. Alright, it's not karada. Yasumu. Okay. Okay, next one. Alright, this one I'm sure a lot of you are like, why am I even bothering? Okay, I'm going through every single one on the list, alright? I'm trying not to be, apart from the numbers actually, but otherwise I'm going through every single one. Now, of course, a lot of you know this as iku. Alright, this is, I mean, I think if you get to year 12 and you don't know that this is iku, ooh, that's going to be a bit of a hard year for you. Alright, but we can also have ko, okay, our onyomi. And we think of words like ginko, okay, for bank. Okay, so this gin actually means silver. So like silver moves around. Okay, kind of makes sense. Ginko. Alright, but now there is actually a third reading that a lot of you will probably not be aware of, okay? And this is a word that basically I noticed gets introduced into year 12. It's one of these words like seikatsu, yoyaku. There's a few words that kind of get introduced in year 12, and they constantly, like I would say every year, these words basically come up on the year 12 exam. Okay, so you really have to know them. But okonao. Okay. Now, okonao is this kind of second meaning, okay? Iku is like a going or a journey. Okonao means to carry out something, okay? So we often see this when we're talking about parties and conferences and events and things, you know, things that have to be organized and like run by something, you know, person has to kind of manage and organize it, okay? So we can say, for example, ibento o okonao. Ibento o okonao. All right, so an event. You basically, it's I carry out an event. I'm running the event. Okay, so really, really handy word, and of course a JLPT word. Okay, next one. This one probably you guys are also pretty familiar with. Okay, so nen. All right, when we're counting our years, so nisen nen, year 2000. Okay. Also toshi, of course, kotoshi, this year. Maitoshi, every year. So both of these. Okay. Also, this is kind of good to remember when you want to remember what the animal you are of the I guess it's the Chinese zodiac, but you know the Japanese follow this system as well. Okay, so for example, watashi wa usagi doshi desu. Usagi doshi desu, right? 1987. So I'm year of the rabbit. Okay, so it's good to know this as well. Like Japanese people actually really like it if you know what year of the animal you are. It'll often get a bit of a laugh. If anyone asks how old you are, you say how old you are, and then you go usagi doshi desu. You know, I'm year of the rabbit. So if you can remember this and your blood type, just remember that this can really impress Japanese people if you know them. Okay, next one, a bit of a number. Okay, so we've seen this in our counters video, which I really recommend you guys check out. If you're using this to study, really, you got to check out my counters video as well. It's in the playlist. But we got hyaku. Okay, this is 100. Now we don't have to know these other readings. Okay, so we can have, for example, sambyaku nenmai. All right, just be careful that hyaku often takes some dakutens, right? We'll see a lot of these counters when they have hi. So for example, hiki, to count our small animals, they're going to take a dakuten, right? So sambyaku nenmai, 300 years earlier. All right, next one. Okay, we have mei. Now also we have this as na. I probably should have written some words down here. All right. So we have namae. All right, this is our name. And you may. Whoops. You may. All right. You may. All right, so namae is our name. Yume, this means famous. Okay, this is a really good word to remember this kanji. Actually, I should put this word as well. Oops. Mebutsu. Meibutsu. Alright, this is again another word that I would really recommend you guys try and remember. Meibutsu. This is talking about like a specialty good, like food, generally, of a particular area in Japan. Okay, so when you talk about, you know, Nagoya no meibutsu, Tokyo no meibutsu. Okay, it's kind of like an omiyage, right? A souvenir. It's a really good souvenir to buy. If someone knows you're going somewhere, and they ask you to buy something, like, you know, generally getting the meibutsu of that area and bringing it back, this is something that'll really make people quite happy with you. All right, Japanese people love this stuff, and it's normally you can buy them at the station. So I've done this lots of times. Okay, just before you go home, you're in the eki ね、駅の中に行って、で何かお土産屋さん探して、で名物買って帰れば良いと思います。Okay, so 名物。Alright, that's about it. May and na. Yeah, that'll get you by. Okay, next one. Okay, so a lot of you will know this as ski. Now, notice here, it's actually sku. Alright, so we often see it as ski, but technically the original reading is sku. But it gets always used as a na adjective, okay? It doesn't often get used as this verb. Unlike English, okay? Like, I think we treat is a verb. It's a bit weird when compared to other languages. Okay, and also core. Alright. I'm not actually exactly sure why いや、これはいらないですね。こう。I'm not sure if I was thinking when I highlighted that. こう. No, I think you can get by with ski for this one, right? Now notice we also have konomu, okay? So for example, we got our Japanese savory pancakes. These are okonomiyaki, okay? It uses this kanji. But again, kind of an advanced word. I would not expect, food names, apart from like sushi and like soba, like the real generic names. Okonomiyaki are these kind of phrases? Maybe not. At least they won't expect you to read the kanji for them. You should know the word, but not the kanji. Okay, but yeah, we can get by with ski. Alright, this one. Again, this one a lot of people struggle with, actually. But yeah, this means oneself. Okay, so notice that we've got two lines in the middle. Alright, shiroi, which is what this looks like a lot, only has one line in the middle. Okay, so I used to kind of think, it's like, oh, you have like multi-layers for yourself, right? You've got personality and all these kind of things, your likes, dislikes, preferences. So I used to kind of think, multi-layers. Alright, the other one is white. Alright, so これはちょっと違いますね. Okay, so we got quite a few readings, and these kunyomi in particular, you really don't have to worry about for a bit until you get to like JLPT 3 or JLPT 2, I would say. Alright, so we can get by with just knowing G. Now I was debating whether to put this word shizen in there, because this is a bit of a cruel word, but this means nature, and notice it's shizen, okay? But generally we want to be reading this kanji as G. Okay, G. Shizen, I don't know, it could come up, it definitely could come up. I guess I should really put it here. Okay, but normally we're going to see this word as jibun, okay? Yourself, jibun. Okay, and we have jido doa. Okay, good phrase to know, jido doa. Because this is this word, it comes up a lot when we're dealing with our transitive and transitive verbs, okay? Because when we talk about an automatic door, it's kind of opening by itself, right? Humans aren't doing it. So you say, jido doa ga aku. Jido doa ga aku. So the automatic door opens. Okay? You can't say jido door unless you can't say jido door o akeru. Okay? This doesn't make sense. Jido door ga aku. Alright? The automatic door opens. If you say jido door o akeru, it's what it's actually saying is that the automatic door is broken. Okay? And that you're having to open it. Okay? So yeah, this is a very common, right? So door is door, right? And jido, okay? So we see this is our ugoku kanji. We're going to be seeing this on our list a bit later. But one's self-moving, so automatic, okay? We also have jido sha, yeah, an automobile. But I think you should be able to get by with these ones. Okay. Alright, this one, wow, there's not much in this list at all. Okay, this next one, okay, basically we can get by with reading as onaji. Again, I was kind of thinking, should I put do in here? But I actually don't think, do, trust me, becomes very useful, and I would really recommend you can learn this if you can. But otherwise, no, I'm going to say it's not so useful. But onaji, yeah, for sure. This is what we need to know this kanji for in year 12. So the same. Okay, now just keep in mind that we do have quite a few words for same in Japanese. We have isho, okay, as well. Alright, so go together with something. We often do, this is the same. So something to isho, it's the same as that, okay? But onaji has its uses. Okay, onaji. Alright, our last one. So this is just a, no, I'm about to say that can't be the last one. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a direction here, nishi. Okay, I'm trying to think which ones we've done now. I think we've done north. Nishi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we haven't done east yet either. That's 8 strokes. But nishi, okay, this is west. Now, for my West Australian students, okay, this is going to be quite useful because when we're talking about WA, we need to be able to say this. So, nishi Australia. Nishi Australia. Okay, now some of you might notice it says Spain here, like what's going on there. Just keep in mind that every country has a specific kanji which has kind of been set aside for them, okay? So, look what happens when I type in Australia. Alright, so see we have the second option is this. So this is technically the name for the kanji for Australia, but often it just gets kind of put down to this. Yeah. Alright, so we have this kanji. Now this is kind of a cool kanji, but I won't go into it. But every country has its own kanji, alright? So, but this, you know, obviously not going to be tested like this in year 12, but just keep in mind that it's something that exists, and it's particularly useful in newspapers, for example, because it saves a lot of space. You know, Australia in particular is quite a long word in katakana, so if you can just have a single kanji, which just takes up one square, for the country, that's a lot quicker. Okay, so this can mean Spain as well. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they picked what countries get what kanji, because most countries have quite nice kanji. Like this is kind of neutral, it just means west. But some countries have some kind of weird kanji. I'm like, what's going on there? Like the one for France is like the one for Buddhism, I think. I'm like, you know, if there's one thing I would associate with France, I'm not sure Buddhism would be top of the list. So I'm not exactly sure how that system works. But yes, that does exist. But we can get by just knowing this as nishi. Alright, this one, okay, it looks like two katakana tas stacked on each other. And funnily enough, the onyomi is also ta, but we don't have to know this, okay? We can just get by with oi, okay, which means many. Okay, or much. We should probably know this word as well. Alright. So many or much. Okay, so we can say something like hito ga oi. Hito ga oi. Alright, there's many people. Alright, and often you're not going to get it as a softball like this, right? They're not just going to give you this word oi. They're often always going to conjugate kind of these rarer words to see if you really know them or not. So for example, hito ga osugiru. Hito ga osugiru, right? Too many people. Hito ga osugiru. Okay, last one for our 6 strokes. Okay, we just read this as chi, and it means ground. And again, if we look at our kanji here, the left-hand side, we see it's got the radical for ground or dirt, alright, from doyobi. Doyobi. Okay, so that's how it helps me remember this kanji. This is ground. Now, what word we have quite a few words I guess this could come up in, but the most common I would say would be chikatetsu. Chikatetsu. Alright, so our subway, basically, our underground train station. Okay, so ground, below or under, iron. Okay, this is our train tracks part. Okay, now I've already gone through this word list in a previous video, but I just wanted to add one little bit to the bottom where it's like, how do we actually use these naka, ushiro, soba, yoko, tonari, all these kind of words? Well, we generally are going to be, it's a bit of a revision of our no particle, okay? That's why I put no and ni for here as well. But we could say something like, yubin kyoku wa ginko to スポーツ用品店の間にあります。I've got my maru. Alright, so 郵便局は the post office. 銀行とスポーツ用品店の間. Alright, so in between. It's in the interval. It's in the little space. の間にあります. So as to the post office, it's in between the bank and the sporting goods store. Okay. Alright, I think I'm going to have to leave it there. I've got a bit of a busy day of hikoshi, so I don't want to go too much longer. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry I was a bit late. And yep, next week we'll be just continuing on with our 7-stroke kanji in a new location, by the way. Hopefully the acoustics are good. I don't see there being any problem though. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe. It really does help me out if you can do it. Just take a few seconds to sign in to a Gmail account or similar, or even create an account if you're really if you're that keen. But I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe to the channel. And the benefit is, if you subscribe to the channel when I go live, so if I'm late like today, for example, you'll get a notification when I go live, and then you can tune in. Of course, all these videos are up on my channel. I'm going to be trying to make some better playlists, so you can kind of better choose what videos you want to watch, depending on what content or, for example, what level you're at. But in the meantime, I do have a playlist up there, so you can go through my videos. And I really appreciate the support anyone gives me by subscribing or liking. Otherwise, you can just leave a comment, maybe suggest something I could do different. If you've got any criticisms, critiques, I'd really appreciate to hear back from anyone. Or if you've got something in Japanese that's really causing you an issue. I mean, there's no silly questions on this channel, that's for sure. I mean, I'm running it, so trust me, I've asked my fair share of silly questions with Japanese, and I've said all these weird, crazy things in Japanese that Japanese people are so confused about. But through that process of trying, failing, getting corrected, remembering, my Japanese has gotten a lot better, okay? And it's gotten to the point where I can communicate pretty well with Japanese people. And a funny thing about it is that because my accent is quite good, if I'm on the phone or something, basically if a Japanese person can't see who I am, they think I'm a Japanese person, okay? Now I'm telling you, I'm not special. I'm not different from anybody else, okay? I'm not different from you. So don't think that it's like, oh, I'll never be able to get there, okay? Sure, I went on exchange and that was a big deal. But that's just, if you think about what exchange is just like 24-hour constant exposure to Japanese. So you can get that same environment in Australia, for example, okay? But you just got to make some kind of lifestyle changes. So for example, I used to wake up in the morning and I'd have my browser set to Asahi Shimbun, okay, the big newspaper in Japan, and I would just read an article every morning. Right now I've got all these basically videos on my phone which are helping me, which are just all in Japanese, and it's actually JLPT study videos, it doesn't really matter though, but it's Japanese content and I'm just listening to it in the car. Okay, so just think that through all those things, it's going to add up to tens of minutes, of hours, of days, of weeks of hearing Japanese. So you can get to as good as I am. I mean, I've been studying it for a long time, but I got to basic conversational level after about you know, I was in Japan for 10 months, but after about 6 to 8 months of like full-time study, I was basically from zero to being able to speak to Japanese people. All right, so don't think you can't do it. You just have to work on it. It's just how much time do you want to spend on it. But I mean, a lot of people say, oh, Japanese is the hardest language ever, you know, blah blah blah. Look, it's got some hard, tricky bits, but those hard, tricky bits are not going to stop you asking for directions, you know, ordering stuff at a restaurant, having kind of basic conversations about the weather and stuff like this. You know, those things that other people are referencing are more for tricky things, like, you know, when we're talking about literature and all that. But you don't have to get to that level. You know, you don't have to overcome those tricky things to get to a good level of Japanese. Anyway, that's me done for the rambling now. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.